Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and good God, after me bolstering your ranks and getting you guys all prepared to get all your resources for 7.2 because the uber important super relics are coming, they're not coming anymore. Sorry about that, guys. And as usual with these kind of topics, there's no real relevant footage, so just have some fun with what you see in the background, because I believe Andy's going to edit this one. Thanks, pal. Thanks, pal. Appreciate that. Right then. So a lot of people dropping into the stream while we're going through Zelda as to what the hell do we think of this. Honestly, sigh of relief from pretty much all the raiding community is what I can tell you, is that we're really happy this system isn't going live because it made no fucking sense. I think sometimes Blizzard comes up with really cool ideas and then they go, wait a minute. No, that's not worked. We all do it. We all do it. We would hope that we don't have these situations that occur with many heads in the same room, because most of us spotted the problem straight away. So what was the problem? Why was it changing? We wanted to develop our characters. Another way to gain power was to gain a second artifact trait per relic and give us something to work towards. And Blizzard's aim with this was that people are just farming one particular relic, because everybody has a trait that is just better than the others. And that's always going to be the case. With so many different traits in the artifact weapons, there is going to be one that is just superior, or at least two that are very, very close. So what they decided to do is create the random secondary relic system, whereas your primary relic trait would be the same all the time. So we know, for example, on my mage, the Pyroblast one drops there. But it would also have a chance to roll a secondary one, which would always be a DPS one, and that should make them more interesting. Now, the initial question is, does that solve the problem of people having to farm one specific relic? Well, no, because I still need the Pyroblast one. But now you've actually made the problem considerably worse, because now I'm looking for the ideal primary and secondary trait. So in a situation now where we're just hoping that that particular relic drops, and remember, if you're raiding or even doing dungeons, it affects everybody the same, is that people share relics. I share relics with many, many people, all different classes, all different specs. So when that eventually drops, I then have a limited chance to actually get it, okay? Because obviously there are other people who are also vying for the same relic. Now we're in a scenario where we could get a bad one, similar to tier gear. Like, tier gear is for me, is a horrible, horrible system. I would love to go back to the old tier system now. I think the raids are small enough to do that, but now we have a system where we're just sort of randomly churning out tier gear, hoping for something that's better, or maybe just getting something that's equal, and therefore you kind of think, well, that was just a waste of goddamn time. So it's obviously dawned on Blizzard that what they've actually done is create a worse, more RNG system using the relics. What we were hoping for, and I think many of us assumed would be the case, is that the secondary traits on the new relics would in fact be utility ones. The ones that we flat out right now in the game absolutely do not want. Yeah, so on my Fire Mage, again, I want DPS traits. So I absolutely do not want Cauterizing Blink. That's the ability to heal myself when I blink. I don't really want to stick that in my fire weapon permanently, right? So it goes ignored. In fact, I consider that to be absolute trash, along with another, several other traits in my weapon. I don't want that. So if the secondary relics actually gave me the option to say, oh, I would actually, because jokes aside, that blink and that heal has saved me many, many, many times. So it would actually be really nice if I could get a DPS trait and the heal to be buffed as well. That would be very cool for doing world quests, very cool for saving myself in certain tricky scenarios when doing PvP, all those kind of things. That would actually be quite nice. Maybe I want more physical damage reduction in the gameplay I do, but obviously I don't want to sacrifice my damage to do it. All these kind of things could create some interesting scenarios where once I actually get the first relic, and it might not have the ideal secondary, it's still not going to waste. It's still something that everybody desires. And unfortunately, that turned out not to be the case. So Blizzard has said, no, we're going to get rid of it. It's going. Now, right now, they've replaced it with a rather mediocre AP chance on doing certain stuff, which I think might change, might not. I don't want to go into too much detail, but either way, it's meh. So if you didn't start, for whatever reason, you didn't start collecting oil resources, or you just thought you were so far away it was going to be annoying, because we don't know when 7.2 is coming, but obviously we think it's going to be relatively soon. I've changed my mind on that now. Now they're actually like dropping stuff out and having to rework it. They might delay 7.2 a little bit longer than I actually hoped. That's the situation, and that's why. Very weird to see such an obvious problem finally being addressed, which didn't solve the statement. They had a problem, or they believed there was a problem in people just farming one very specific relic and all the other relics being absolute nonsense. They thought they came up with a system that fixed that, but it was very clearly a system that would never, ever fix that. And that's my thoughts on it. Relief is what I'm feeling. Relief, because there was definitely going to be a whole lot of farming in my future in order to gain what I would consider to be the best relics, rather than just waiting for that one particular relic from that boss. Did it drop? No. Okay, move on. Did it drop? Yes. Do I have a chance to get it over someone else? Yes. Does it have a decent secondary trait? Yes. Waiting for all those conditions to be met would be considerably worse. So I'm going to stick a thumbs up to this, that they just went, yeah, this is a bad idea. Let's call that a day. So there you go, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.